See, that's actually kind of funny because here above ground, this one looked bigger as it has the wider top, but actually this one with the slim top was bigger. I gotta remember that. Stille fra. Er det spændende, Hans?
Er det sjovt? Er det sjovt? Er det sjovt?
En hård banan i dag. Plus den tidlige start. Det bliver lidt senere i morgen.
Altså jeg har sådan, jeg er oppe 4 gange, men det er reelt kun 2 gange om natten. Fordi jeg er oppe en gang kl. 11, og så 2 gange om natten, og så en gang kl. 6. Men stadig. Det er stadig nok meget.
Ej, jeg vil også sige. So this tube is going to be for the dirty water from the washer if we decide to have it down here in the basement. But I'm just thinking now while I'm laying the pipe down, I should put it closer to the wall so you can get the washing machine as close to the wall as possible. So I'm going to do that. I know these metal sheets probably are not gonna keep out the wild hogs, but it might confuse them and give me a couple of days. I might put the electrical fence up around my little tree growth garden here. It's because, like I said earlier, last year and this year, I have too much to look after, so I just put a bunch of trees in the ground, about 50, and what survives, survives. That's the logic. I can't keep running around watering it. I gotta prioritize. So that's pretty much it. We'll see what happens. Hopefully I'll have a lot of nice trees for my arboretum. Botanical garden for trees. Like I said last year, I always let the taper of my European plum here, my favorite tree, grow very vigorously for a season, and then I cut it off to grow the thickness of my trunk here. So it's that time again. I hope I make a good cut, and I also want to repot it. It's a little bit too late, but I think I'll be all right. But you can start. The buds have started to open, and there is some leaves on some branches. But I wanted to repot it last year, so I desperately also want to do it this year, of course. But last year I was too late. That was not too good. I made a huge scar here. So I know that for next time I shouldn't do precision cutting with the big garden scissors. And you can see the first time I did this tapering technique, it's almost sealed off. Of course not the big one, but the first one I made is. And the next one here is also closing nicely now. So it's grown into the wooden pot. But I see a lot of fine roots, which is very, very nice. That's what you want. Pretty nice. I'm excited to see how the roots been doing for the last, I think 4 or 5 years, probably more, because I did the second repotting of this tree's life back in Denmark, and that's a long time ago. So I hope I have some nice fine roots and I can remove some more of the roots going down. I remember the root ball being pretty tall. So what you want in bonsai is the roots going horizontally and not lateral. Can never get those right, I'm sorry. Let's see the roots here. Yes, couldn't go inside the courtyard, but I'm not gonna be able to do to pour the floor this week, so I would have to move them anyway. So I'll have to get them under the roof. So it's not a big difference if I had to carry them from here or there. It's actually funny. He's a great guy, my materials guy, or whatever you'd call him, because it's no secret that it's been a bit frustrating to get the materials. Then it's the truck that's something wrong with, and then he doesn't get his delivery and stuff. But that's Italy, and I've learned to live with it, because with my Italian friends down here, I have had difficulties making them understand all my sarcasm and irony. But the materials guy, he always understands it, because whenever I go there and I order something to be delivered, I tell him, he always tells me, I'll call you just before I come, and he never calls. I never know when he comes. And this time I couldn't help myself but say, but you never call. And then he just said, without making a face or anything, no, I just don't want to disturb you. I like that. That's funny.
Hej skat. Come on. Come on. Ja, det er dejligt med det smil altid. Det er altid dejligt med sin egen lille hantebær. Ja.
Hvad er det?
Du kan godt lide det, det er da surt.
Du skal også lidt noget sesamfrø. De lille sesamfrø.
Det var måske ikke så smart. Det smager mere.
So I'm done with the finishing coat of plaster inside the house now, which is a nice milestone. I think it just finishes off the raw wall very, very nicely, I think. And the materials for the new floor didn't come early this week. They came very late yesterday, so that's gonna be next week, even though I said I would pour the floor this week. I only managed to do a little bit of preparation but it should be quickly. I'll prepare it tomorrow, Monday, and then hopefully pour it on Tuesday, get the vapor barrier down and the reinforcement, and yeah, then go from there. But not getting the materials meant that I allocated some time to do bonsai and planned out a lot of the trees. I have established a nice growing area for all my trees, which I've dreamed of for a long time. I have the small one down at the end of this part of our land, which is nice. Those trees have been in the ground for 2 years, but I liked to get it closer and make this little terrace here sort of a bonsai tree area, which is it's starting to take shape. I used this old gate that was between the house and the entrance to the garden here as a table, which is nice because the water can easily get through, and it has a nice working height, and the trees can also be displayed here, which I really like. I've also started pre-sprouting vegetables. I've decided to put up a nice fence and make sure no wild animals can get in there. I have been going back and forth in my mind with it, but it's just too big a part of the project. I can't just work on the house from every day. I need to have some. I need to do some farming, like I also dreamt of. So I still think I can finish the house before next winter with that, with having a vegetable garden as well. So yeah, and sorry for always making lasagna, but it's just such a nice dish, and especially now that we have a kid, it's nice to have that extra time when you have the lasagna as leftovers. And they do say that it only gets better with the day in the fridge. So not much else to say then. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week, where I will pour the new cement floor.